Michelle King with Michelle King Coaching and the Magicking Center. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm excited to share a mastery and magicking tip with you on signs, synchronicities, and spirit. And the reason why I say it's a mastery and magicking tip is because it works when we are navigating the unknown and uncertainty, as well as when we're resourcing the visioneering process. So when we have these inspired impulses, we know what we want to create or manifest or invite into our life, we can resource our intuition or our creative power to work in partnership with the field to co-create and consciously experience the signs and synchronicities, because ultimately at the center of it all is you. You are the source of your love, power, and truth. And that includes this energetic conversation with the creative field, with your higher mind. And it starts with you. So it begins in mind, in consciousness, a lot of what I talked about in that last masterclass. So change, shifts, all of that begins with you in consciousness. This is an internal experience, right? And when we start to expand in consciousness, we also expand our creative resources. And so my guess is, because I'm doing this video, you are starting to notice a lot of signs and synchronicities. The cool part about it is it's not just happening. So again, you are co-creating these experiences, and a major shift will happen, and a sense of power will happen when you start to consciously and deliberately engage your intuition, to ask for guidance, to ask for signs, to ask to be shown, to invite the people that you are interested in, welcoming into your life, to, rooted in the qualities of those visions and so forth, the qualities of your soul. So whether that's excellence or harmony and balance and vitality and inspiration and synergy, like all the things that we see and know and experience in nature, those are really go-to qualities that you can resource when it comes to, manifesting or, receiving signs and synchronicities to align you with your true nature. So your vision, and, even when you're navigating the unknown, let's say you're navigating a major transition and it's kind of like you're navigating the dark, you're not really sure what's to come. Maybe you're not super clear on your vision, but deep down inside what you want to experience, whether that's love, fulfillment, inner peace, or the embodiment of your power, your knowing of your worthiness, and knowing that you are the source of your love, power, and truth. Those are qualities that you can align with. And the details, that's where we partner with the field to allow that experience to naturally unfold. So this is the fun part of activating your intuition, engaging with the field, and then, receiving those responses. And another cool part about that is you get to decode those signs and synchronicities. So, I know that one video I had, a couple crows show up in the video, and I instantly got a message from that. And, what it speaks to me may be different for you. Or, if you Google crow meaning, it may have a different symbolism or meaning than what it actually represents to me. And so the cool part is you get to tune into what is true for you. So you can, resource other people's opinions and experiences and Google, to research what things might mean, and at the same time kind of decipher and discern what is in alignment for you. And a lot has to do with what you're navigating at the time, your intentions, and what you're inspired to integrate and implement into your life by resourcing your vision. So this can be, again, really helpful when you're navigating the unknown, and when you are magicking, when you are resourcing your vision and your soul's qualities to align you with the right path for you. So, one really big example of this for me was back in the day when I was considering working with my mentor and coach, Simone Wright. I had this like really crazy experience, and it was the first time I ever deliberately used my intuition to say, give me an undeniable clear sign. And I was a person that needed validation after validation, right? Like sign after sign after sign before I actually was like, okay, this is true, you know, this is real. So you can check out that story on my website if you'd like. I also wrote a blog about that. I called it The Bench if you want to see more. And I also have a free resource for you if you're interested. It's on the magickingcenter.com. And there you will find a 3-step intuition guide to learn how to actively engage and resource your intuition, and then start to receive, you know, these signs and synchronicities. And, you know, what comes to mind is this figure 8. And again, at the center of that figure 8 is you. So the signs and the synchronicities are going to flow in harmony with that ask, but you at the center. And because you're deliberately activating this, you know, you're going to be on heightened awareness when these things line up. So that's what's really fun. And really, actually, when you get to the point that that's like normal for you, it's like your language with your soul, the language with the creative field. You become fluent in that. And again, like I said, in the past, I needed like validation after validation. And that's how I kind of train my muscle. And that's normal. It's part of our human experience, especially when we're navigating the unknown and we're like, oh my gosh, what's next? You know, give me an undeniable clear sign. And it's like a stepping stone, right? But not the full picture. And so you're still like in the wondering mode of like, what's going on? So understanding that that's normal, that's part of the process. And to as you start to develop that fluency with that creative field, with your higher mind, guided by the self, that's your intuition, that's the self, that's the human part of us that says, I'm asking for this. Like if you don't ask, you won't get it. And it will seem like things are just happening. But actually, when you bring awareness to that and you're deliberate with that, you know, things will start to line up pretty quick. And so this can be used as a tool, a really strong tool, because as you start to get more fluent in that, it becomes a new normal. And it's like a relief because you can navigate the world as it is and rely on your intuition to guide you. Like, you know, you're supported. You'll get to this point where there's no like feeling of needing to protect yourself. Like, you know what that feels like when you're in transition and everything is unknown. It's like you go into like protection mode because there's a fear, right? The fear of uncertainty. That's our human nature, which is absolutely normal. And as you start to develop this tool of resourcing your intuition to co-create and partner with the field in synergy, in harmony, as a unit. And actually, when I think about the figure 8, you know, the number 8 is about manifesting. And if we unravel that figure 8, it's a whole, right? So like, this is you in synergy with the creative field, with your higher mind, with this expression of absolute intelligence that sees the unseen, knows the unknown, and is guiding and supporting you the whole time. And so, you know, you get to this point where you can navigate change and transition and kind of play with these energies and be open to how these signs and synchronicities show up for you without needing it so much. It's like this harmony, this synergy, this balance, this fluency of navigating life, you know, in the spiritual realm and in the human realm, you know, the 3D. And it's, you know, with like elegance and power and I mean, authentic power, like embodied in your true nature, because you know how to resource these tools and principles to align you with your highest good. And so, you know, and again, if you practice this, you're going to get sign and synchronicities one after another. And they're going to be like, wow, you're going to be so excited about it, and like soak that in. And remember to acknowledge those moments, because that helps to reinforce that muscle as you're, you know, navigating and training your intuitive language in partnership with the field. and really going inward to decipher and decode what those things represent and symbolize. And sometimes it's super simple, right? It's not a big thing. I know I used to make a lot of meaning out of everything because just loving the mystery, right? That's why we do this. We're like invested in the mystery of life and so forth. So this is part of that cool creative process where you get to decipher and decode that for yourself, which is really neat. And that again may show up in, dreams. I know I had a lot of dreams initially, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? I'm having all these crazy, wild dreams, and at the time, I wasn't really resourcing my intuition or actively engaged, but I was really curious and like, ooh, leaning into this. Like I knew something was happening. And then, my life path led me to connect with my mentor and coach. And, she helped like you turn the light on in a dark room, and I'm like, oh my God, this all makes so much sense. And so when you start to align with your heart's desire, your soul's impulses, things will start to align really quickly. You're moving into, expanded levels of consciousness where there's greater resources for greater creative power. And, it makes it so much easier to move into because you're guided, you're supported, you're loved, you're protected. So there's no need to really resist that because you're in partnership with this transitional evolutionary language of cultivating a life of abundance, merging with your soul's nature. So everything that you're experiencing is really aligning you with the truth of who you are. And your soul's qualities is kind of that North Star for you. And your vision is an expression of those qualities. It's inviting you to move into that. It's inviting you to, shed the old identities that you've outgrown, right? It's like, yes, this was so part of the process. Thank you so much. You're blessing it as you're shedding it and, allowing the newness to emerge. And it's like this higher quality of love, this higher quality of excellence, this higher quality of vitality and, synergy in your life. And so resource the signs and synchronicities that you're going to be experiencing or are experiencing now, especially if you're watching this, there's synergy and synchronicity with that too. So that's really cool. And again, if you want to learn how to actively resource your intuition to start, embodying your creative power and partnering with the field, then check out that free guide on the magickingcenter.com. And you can also join our, conscious community with that. You're always welcome. And again, on July 28th, I know I keep announcing this, but I'm doing the live masterclass on conscious uncoupling. This is also about shedding those identities, right? And bridging breakups, breakdowns, and breakthroughs with the elements of transformation for evolutionary wellness. And so if you download that 3-step intuition guide, you'll join our community and, you're more than welcome to come to the live. I so love engaging with you. And then I would love to hear your stories, like what, signs and synchronicities are you noticing as you up-level your life, as you step into your creative power, as you merge with your soul and say yes to abundant living. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I always love to hear from you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at mkingcoaching.com. Thank you again for engaging with me. I wish you all the best. And remember, you are the source of your love, power, and truth.